UK government announced ban on asylum seekers using taxis for medical appointments. Hello everyone and welcome back to Discovery Learning Hub. Today's story is about a major change announced this week by the UK government, a ban on asylum seekers using taxis for most medical appointments. The decision has sparked debate around public spending, human rights, and access to healthcare. Let's dive in. What's the change? On November 29, 2025, the government in the UK declared that asylum seekers will no longer be allowed to take taxis to medical appointments, starting from February 2026. Under the new rules, taxi travel to see a doctor or attend hospital will be restricted to exceptional, evidence-based cases. For example, people with a physical disability, serious illness or pregnancy. Any such journey will require prior approval from the authorities. For everyone else, asylum seekers will be expected to use alternative means, such as buses or trains, even if the distance to the hospital is long. Why they did it? So why this sudden change? According to the government, the move follows a review into how asylum seekers are transported for healthcare, triggered after a major investigation by the media. It emerged that the system was costing taxpayers around £15.8 million per year in taxi transport alone. There were also examples of misuse. In one case, an asylum seeker reportedly took a 250-mile taxi ride to see a doctor, which cost about £600. Some contractors were arranging multiple short taxi drop-offs every day, for example from a hotel to a nearby GP surgery just a couple of miles away, costing large sums overall. The government argues that the ban is part of a broader effort to cut wasteful spending, reform asylum support, and make the system more sustainable. What critics say, concerns and human impact. But not everyone agrees with the decision. Some rights groups and charities warn that the threshold for exceptional cases may be set too high, meaning many asylum seekers might struggle to get transport for necessary medical care. Because asylum seekers are often moved around frequently, sometimes far from where they first registered with a doctor, requiring bus or train travel could make it harder for them to keep up with ongoing treatment, especially for chronic conditions or cancer therapy. Campaigners have long argued for free public transport passes so asylum seekers wouldn't need taxis in the first place, but the government says it rejects that demand. Critics also suggest that the root problem isn't the asylum seekers, but inefficient or profit-driven contracting by private firms, which has allowed excessive taxi use at the expense of taxpayers. Bigger picture. What this means and what's next. This taxi ban is part of a broader shake-up of the asylum system by the government. It forms one of several measures aimed at cutting costs, reforming immigration support, and restructuring asylum accommodation. The government says it plans to move asylum seekers out of hotels and into alternative accommodation such as military sites, targeting large savings overall. But this policy raises important ethical and human rights questions. Is cost saving more important than ensuring access to healthcare? How will vulnerable people, the sick, the disabled, pregnant women, be protected under the new rules? And what accountability exists to ensure the new system isn't just shifting the burden onto individuals? As things unfold, the debate will likely intensify, between concerns over taxpayer money and the need to treat asylum seekers with dignity and fairness. Conclusion. That's the story for now. The ban on taxi use for asylum seekers' medical appointments in the UK shines a light on complex trade-offs. Fiscal responsibility versus access to care, efficiency versus compassion. What do you think? Is this policy justified? Or does it risk denying vulnerable people necessary care? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this analysis useful, please like, share, and subscribe to Discovery Learning Hub for more breakdowns of global news and policy. Thanks for watching. See you next time.